Alright everyone, welcome to another video from me. Today we're gonna be watching and reacting to the 2.6 preview. Hopefully I will upload this in time and not after the update drops this time. But yeah, without further ado, we shall begin with the reaction. Let's see. Audio seems good and everything like that. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna turn this to 4K so we get better quality.
小伙子们，晚上好，欢迎收看明朝2.6版本前瞻通讯，我是你们的好朋友霸王。
霸王and飞。
大家好，我是策划西飞，又和大家见面啦。
哎，西飞，看我们今天所处的环境，似乎是七丘的一个野外营地。
是的，这片区域名为三谷伊斯寿园。
First note, this seems to be a new area. I have yet to see this architecture in this like cliff, I think. So this might be actually a new area in the Septimon. And considering that okay, here's a maybe a cold take, right? But like considering how many sub-region Wuthering Wave is gonna have so far, I think they should start doing like a mold in the menus. They should optimize it a bit more, where like if you go to Rena Sita, for example, I think they should have they should separate Raguna and Septimon if Septimon is gonna have like sub areas. That's how I feel. That way people would have an easier time to like navigate there instead of like just Septimon becoming part of like the whole like Rena Sita area, because like right now Rena Sita I think is like Raguna and Septimon is being mixed into one menu. So like they got this like long list of like area names where when they could have like just like separate them into like two different like, you know, for each like actual like state. But like that's just me. Maybe they start implementing it when they release like a second like state for Huanglong, for example. Maybe we'll have to see.
黑潮的前沿阵地，而我们现在所处的位置就是七丘战士们建立
A hunter's den. The hunter's den.
此前，漂泊者在与弗洛洛芬莱赫的交锋中，得到了关于巡游天国的线索，并且也顺着岁主旧物的指引，决定返回七丘进行进一步的调查。这时，涨潮期也即将到来，总督公向漂泊者发来了前往桑古伊斯寿园狩猎的请柬。如今，伴随着总
Sanguis Plateaus. Is that a new area? That's like Sanguis, I think it's like blood or something in Latin, right? And then plateau is like plateau? Like the plateau, like the blood plateau or something?
的正式邀约，这场狩猎即将拉开帷幕。
记得之前路帕说过，猎。
I remember this. This is like the area where like the bridge was broken. Like I think like it was like a bit more south. So we're gonna be going further down the south area. The bright clouds above the plateau. Yeah, I remember like the area already has like a rendered like geometry and everything. So I think that's where they're going with the new area. Maybe they'll like describe it more. Ooh, there's a hole in the sky there. Whenever the dark tide comes, they would the Septimontians would always go on there and like hunt the emerging like TDs. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like solo leveling, where like, or like at least like a solo leveling like world, right? Where like people would go into gates to like conquer them and prevent like a monster outbreak. So there's definitely that vibe going there.
狩猎对于七丘人来说意义非凡，它不仅仅是决斗士的荣誉。
It's a solemn duty, right? It's not just about glory. It's about the duty to like, you know, protect the people, the people.
同时，奥古斯塔也向漂泊者发起了狩猎邀请，而漂泊者也正要前往猎场做进一步的调查。看来加入这场狩猎势在必行。
是的，但这次的狩猎似乎危机重重，并不简单。记得玉女尤诺提到过一则关于狩猎的预言，似乎无论如何进行排兵布阵，这次狩猎的结局都不算好，甚至 还有可能无法摆脱祈求毁灭的预言。
看来所有的线索都将汇聚在这场狩猎的中心。风起云
That
烧，
sounds kind of grim.
狩猎伊始。
The wind
有就让我
rises.
们带着这些疑
Let's
点，
carry all
先来
these
看看
questions with
2.6 版
us.
本的版本 PV。
By
日以灼
sun
风，
scorched,
月
by
以黎明，
moon's
开启这场
revelation, and
狩猎
lift the
岁
curtain
末。
on this great hunt.
Take courage, my friend.
Oh, the Griffins. Griffins fort. Does that mean we get to fly with them too?
The hunt.
Because that would be awesome, right? I feel like they should make the Griffin like an actual like permanent flight like flight pet or something. Where like if you're in Septimontian, you can fly without like stamina because you don't use your own stamina. You use the Griffins, right? That would be awesome. But like I don't think that will be a thing on an online game, unfortunately.
In Septimon's long fight for survival.
I just don't see it happening, right? Because the like no matter how much like I feel like as much detail they can put into the world, like it's not gonna have the same depth as like an actual like fully open world games, like maybe like something like Fallout or like Skyrim, right? So they cannot allow you to like explore like too freely, I want to say. Like I feel like flight is like definitely like flight system in Wuthering Wave is like already like pushing the limits of like open world games, like open world gacha games, because now like there's this like a definite like step up in like player freedom in exploring the game world. But like the gacha game, it's like system as a genre itself, it's already by definition supposed to be limited. Like you cannot have like a fully open and ended like game and like exploration, because that requires first of all a lot of like effort, which kind of like the antithesis, like the opposite of like a gacha game that's supposed to be like super player friendly, like casual, like not player friendly in terms of like microtransaction or anything, but player friendly in terms of like difficulty. So like it's like the opposite end. And also there's the fact that like the game is supposed to be have like a low barrier of entry, and Wuthering Wave is also already pushing that to the limit with like all this graphical improvement and everything. But I feel like at the same time, you cannot take that leap. Like it's kind of like how like the they have this the opposite problem of like what Cyberpunk have when Cyberpunk 2077 release, because Cyberpunk tried to include PlayStation 4 and like the previous generation consoles, and because of that, the performance of the game in that on those consoles are abysmal. Where they ended up like letting go of those kind of pipe dream, because like obviously the current generation console is the only console that is like capable of like running it. So they just let go of like the older versions, like the older generation consoles. And whereas like the problem for Wuthering Wave is that like because they're a gacha game and they're a game that is meant to be like as approachable for as many people as possible, like accessible, you cannot let go that older generation. So by definition, you cannot push the limit too high too. Like you can keep pushing the ceiling, but they cannot raise the floor too much. As it is, they already raised the floor kind of high, like raised the bar kind of high. And a lot of people are already complaining about like how they're kind of unsure with like how like if whether like their storage can handle it, whether their phone can handle it, and their computer are like burning and like exploding right now trying to run the new areas, right? And unfortunately, in this genre of the game, that is like a valid complaint, because like you would see a lot less people complaining about that kind of thing on a game like Cyberpunk or Wukong, like Black Myth Wukong, right? Or like something like what other game that looks really good? shit, like Ghost of Tsushima maybe. Like games with like good graphics and like everything, like right, like people would complain less about the performance there because they know that like, you know, fidelity comes with sacrifices that you have to make. So that's why I think that like honestly Wuthering Wave is trying to like please both like trying the game is trying to be both. And so far they're doing well, but I'm kind of scared that one day they would fail to like tip the like balance the scale properly, and it would cause an issue with the community. Because you like, unfortunately, as a gacha game again, you have to be accessible, but they kind of want to push that limit too with the graphics. They kind of want to be the game, right? I think that's what Solon said last time, and I'm kind of scared that they would one day fail on that. But for now, looking good so far.
It holds profound significance.
We want to reply that. This place looked, man. This place looked like a final. Like there's gonna be a 2 option for this place. It's gonna be like a final resting place for you to come, or this is gonna be like the place where you get to like a revelation or something, right? Where you would come here and then like the enemy was waiting for you. I've been waiting for you, like that kind of thing. Or what they would find something here and then they would be like, I knew you would have been here, you would be here, or something like that kind of like scene in anime.
Every hunt before this, it was here that we met our final battles.
That statue here, that gives me a lot of like Dark Souls vibe. And this city, like the colorway is and everything, it reminds me of like Lords of the Fallen or Elden Ring, like the expansion, the DLC. Like Shadow of the Earth 3. There's like an area where like it's under a cave and like there's like this like purple sludge and everything like that. This is similar for some reason.
Hunter or prey?
Final Fantasy? I don't play that much Final Fantasy, but that's what this area reminded me of.
Only the one
Holy
still
shit.
standing gets to decide.
Holy booba. That physics.
Make no mistake.
Oh, that sword of hers, I always want to say this, but that sword of hers reminds me of like that crafted great sword in like Elden Ring, which is also inspired by the Game of Thrones. I think it's an homage for like the J.R.R. Martin or something.
Fight is with me.
Especially since how like the sword like separates and stuff. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Mass Note, yeah, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. Considering how like all the sword like splits apart and everything, oh man, that definitely gives me a lot of like crafted greatsword vibes, right? Because Elden Ring, the sword pieces being combined into one.
In one strike.
Hello, welcome to the stream, Mass Note.
Rulers rule. Winners win. It ends now. All the sun touches is ours.
She's a full-on like anime character, like full-on like DMC character. Ooh.
Come, feast your eyes. Ha. Ha. Cycle. Praise me.
Is this your first time watching it or analyzing? This is my first time watching it, and I'm analyzing it at the same time. Like after the stream, and some say analyzing it after the stream, and some say that no, I'm doing. It's kind of like a reaction slash like analyzing. Like I'm doing it on the fly. I would probably do like I usually do a recap on the towards the end, but like I do it on the fly usually. And also like to give you some context, like there's a lot of like prediction going here because like I haven't played the current patch missions yet, and I also like in terms of like playing Wuthering Wave, I haven't like 100% everything, so I'm basically filling the gaps with like straight up like predictions and like guesses right here.
Fate in my mark.
Fate in my man, the fact that like her Yuno's skills has like this like water droplet effects and everything like that, but she's arrow. She really throws me off.
Reveal.
Especially like if you think about it, like moon usually are like related to water. Also like I did this is not like pre-planned. I did not plan to be pausing right at this moment, but like I was trying to like showcase the moon. Nothing here makes sense. I've seen a lot of explanation about the Augusta part, right? About like how she's supposed to like symbolize the sun, and like the sun like emanates like electricity. So like there's a lot of like scientific explanation for Augusta. I have yet to see any posts about like analyzing like Yuno's like explaining Yuno's like skills, like arrow attributes. Like what the fuck they give Shakona a pistol? Yeah, the Shakona part I really hated. Like the fact that you get to pull a weapon and you'll never see it unless like that on one specific attack. I think it really sucks. Like yeah, I really hate that. I really want the character to be using the weapon that they actually equip.
The moon is full.
So hopefully Wuthering Wave takes that into account from now, like moving forwards. Like if a character uses a gun, she better be using a gun, right? I am the moon that never falls, here to rewrite the ending.
I am the moon that never
What ending? What kind of ending did she see? Is she like doing the whole Doctor Strange thing in like MCU, like the movies, the cinematic universe?
falls. Here to rewrite the ending.
It's okay for creativity. It's just weird. I think they should. You know, I think it sucks for them because like it's gonna sound super limiting, but I think it's a problem that they need to solve because they're the one that's selling the product. And like for me, it's just like as a consumer, like if I'm buying something, I would like to see it being used, right? Like for example, Chakona, she has a lot of problem with like, I pulled her weapon because it's good for the stats, but then I barely get to see it. Like, what's the point of making all this like good looking weapons and like selling it and then never being able to see it? Like it feels more like a stat stick now. Like it feels like a number, it's something that you use to like prop up your number. And I think I think that's a fumble on their part. But I'm happy to report that like, the Augusta weapon looking good because like it's the actual weapon she
The
used.
priestesses foresaw disasters that would befall the land, but
Befall.
also the hero who would rise up to face it.
The unknowable void that is your fate. The citizens of Septimont only need to be loyal to
That Augusta scene,
only need to be
this scene, it gives me that that Millennia versus Radon vibe, where like Millennia try to like stand up. I don't know if you played Elden Ring, but like in Elden Ring, there's this like two gods, like demigods called Millennia and Radon, and they're fighting, and like she's the girl, like Millennia is the woman. Like especially like with like the color scheme and everything, that it gives me that Elden Ring vibes. Like it gives me like the Khaled vibes, like the Scarlet Rod and everything. Especially with like all these like sludges, like it symbolizes corruption and stuff like that. So I wonder what's going on here. She's kneeling. There is corruption. So is this like her like is this the part where she would like be struggling against the dark tide until like we come to save her? Or is this the part where she's like holding on as we try to fight back the actual like source of corruption? I feel like it's one of the two.
Loyal to Septimont, not her Augusta. I've seen things.
Ooh. We've definitely seen some scenes earlier where we would be fighting the last boss together.
Others can't begin to.
So I wonder if like that's that scene where she was kneeling earlier, it's gonna be part of here, like where we like actually like struggled, like you know, in the it's like kind of like an awakening moment, and like there's also the like having like a different color here. Is this like her soul? That's what I'm thinking.
Imagine. So why? Why?
It's like we would be.
Should've seen the clearest. Did I
Ooh, or is she? Or did she have to sacrifice herself?
close my eyes?
Come, take up your blades. For Septimont,
Ooh.
for the name of heroes eternal.
I wonder if they're actually gonna be like showing us both of them, because like it would make sense, right? There's a like the way like mentioned her prophecy, right, and how we can kind of stop it, right? That for me that's there's like a lot of like similarities of like that concept with like the concept of like multiverse, right? So it would make sense if like there's like a version of us, for example, Rover or like M Rover, right? Where they would fail to beat it, like that's like the prophecy, right? Where they fail to beat the corruption, and then they get corrupted or something like that, right? So it would make sense like for them to showcase both of the characters there, because like it's like multi-verse ish. That's the vibe that I'm getting, and I feel like I'm pausing a lot already, considering like this is like still the opening trailer. We still have like we still have like 40 minutes to go.
看完 PV 之后更好奇了，这场狩猎等待着我们的究竟会是什么
？PV 里说，玉女看到命运在漂泊者。
Yeah, Rover's fate, right? It's kind of like that moment where like the Doctor Strange and like Iron Man. We're like, I've seen all like the possibilities, like where and which one do we want? Like only one.
像是一片不可知的空白，说不定漂泊者就是这场狩猎破局。
A noble void, right? A noble void can mean like the void means like unknown, right? Basically, darkness, unknown. A variable, right? That means like it can go bad or it can go good, and I think that's like kind of like supports the whole like multiverses theory, where like there's a side of Rover where like the void that kind of like the void that takes away all the enemies of like Septimont, or like there's also the void that brings Septimont down, right? Because she has a prophecy, so like the prophecy has to come from somewhere.
或许这也是总督邀请我们参与狩猎的真正原因。
故事具体的来龙去脉，就请漂泊者们在2.6版本的潮汐任务里揭晓吧。在2.6版本中，我们会开放潮汐
By Sun's Burning Hand
第8幕着我以烈阳，以及潮汐任务
and by
第2章
Moon's
第9幕
faded light.
基业注定属于月亮，在着我以烈阳中漂泊。
So the way they describe the two mission, I'm assuming the first main quest is gonna be on the first phase, and then the second main quest is gonna be unlocked in the second phase. They're gonna do like the way they did it with like the whole Lupa thing, like Lupa update. That's what I'm thinking.
奥古斯塔、玉女尤诺一同前往三谷一次寿园，共同完成一场盛大的狩猎，阻止涌动的黑潮，或许还能见证预言中那位英雄王的诞生。而试图改写七丘毁灭的预言，对于玉女尤诺来说，又意味着什么呢？尤诺的故事会如何发展？就请漂泊。
How will her story evolve? So I'm assuming we're gonna get to know Yuno's story a bit more during the main quest, kind of like the way we did it with Jinxie and like Kartatia. Like we know their quests and like their story along the way of the main quest, and depending. See, it's weird, right? Because I'm wondering if like the main character of this region, like this state specifically, is gonna be Yuno. So we're gonna get Yuno's like character backstory from the main quest, and then Augusta is gonna come from like the like a companion story, because it seems like the way they showed the scene earlier, right? It feels a lot more like where Yuno has like a lot more connection, kind of. I don't want to say connection because like they're both showing up a lot in like the main story in the trailer that they show us, but like there's a part of like the scene where they show the Yuno's souls like laying down like in the middle of the pool. Attention? Yes. I mean, they both got some attention, right? But the way they give the attention, it feels um okay, here's how it feels. Like the way I want to describe it, right? In Augusta's scene, she was kneeling, and then like there's like this like corruption coming up, like the red sky and everything, the one that I was saying like looks like Elden Ring earlier. That screams to me like a scene that like kind of describes responsibility, right? She's like trying to fulfill her duty, right? Whereas Yuno's like scene, like the showcase of Yuno's earlier in the scene where like she kind of like like shown as a soul inside like in the middle of like a pool, like struggling to like find something like a purpose and stuff. That sounds like that seems more personal. So that's why I'm assuming that's why I'm predicting that like the Yuno's person, like you get to know Yuno's backstory throughout the quest, why she grew up becoming the priestess, why she acts this way, blah blah blah, and then like you get a bit like of taste of like Augusta, kind of like how like we got some story about Cantarella in the main quest, but not all of them, and then like they're gonna give us a companion quest after that. That's how I think. That's my prediction on like how this like revolves. I mean, obviously, I'm not like an expert on this like field, so like I might be wrong, but you know.
体验潮汐任务，今夜注定属于月亮，亲自去了解吧。
And also the way
试图改写七丘毁灭的预言，对于玉女尤诺来说
see, what does it
又
mean
意味着什么
to
呢？
challenge the prophecy of like
尤诺
Septimon's
的故
assertion?
事会如何发展？
And how will her story revolve? Like the way the way they describe the story, right? It feels like she like her story is baked in the main quest, and the way Wuthering Wave has been doing the main quest and like the companion story so far is that like every region has like two characters, and one of them is the main like spotlight characters, and the other one is kind of like the supporting cast, right? So I'm gonna give an example. Jinxie and Changli. So when they release when they release both characters in this in the main story, right? You get to know Jinxie's like background story like all the way till the end in the main quest. And they touch a bit on Changli's backstory, but they didn't touch it. They didn't touch all of them. And then they gave you a companion story after that, where you get to know her more, right? And they did the same. I think they're doing the same thing with Carlotta and Zani. Wait, no, not Carlotta and Zani. Carlotta and Zani both got their own companion story. So you like Carlotta and Zani, I feel like it's like a secondary cast too. I feel like Cartetia would be the second example. I think it's the easiest example because Cartetia gets their full background story in the main quest, and then Cantarella's story is sprinkled here and there, but not all of them. And then you get the companion story to kind of like fill all the gaps and like kind of like show you the full picture. And I think it's kind of it kind of shows because like in the 2.0 story quest, like main quest, it's mostly like an ensemble of cast, right? It's kind of like a power of friendship moment, and that's why like every character is basically like a side character there instead of like a main the main star of the show in the 2.0. But then in Cartetia's story, it's just straight up like her and Cantarella as the supporting cast. So I feel like they're gonna do the same thing again. And if you think about it, in the Lupa's main quest and in our like last update with Lupa's banner, right? How do I explain it? Wait, my brain is kind of like not working a bit. In Lupa's quest, you see both characters, right? like we see Augusta and we see Yuno, but for some but if you think about it, right? This is just my theory again. But if you think about it during those main quests, Yuno is the one that is proactively coming to you and talking to you. Augusta is more passive. She's more ignorant. She doesn't approach you. She doesn't like talk to you directly. In the like you can kind of see in the interaction, there's like this subtlety where like Yuno involves herself with you immediately, right? So like that means like I think like somewhere along the line in the story, she's gonna be more involved in this story. I think that's like I don't know if that's like the way they would do the storytelling. But again, that's just my guess though. Based on like the clues that I have perceived through my perspective. Hopefully that makes sense. Like if it doesn't make sense, feel free to let me know and I will gladly reiterate like the part that you guys didn't understand. But we're gonna move on so we don't take too long in the reactions.
就请漂泊者们在结束狩猎后体验潮汐任务，今夜注定属于月亮，亲自去了解吧。
Especially look at the scene, right? Specifically, where like she smiles to you. Like that scene just now, it feels a lot more like kind of like the way they do Kartatia's like storyline delivery, where like Kartatia talks about her past as like we travel together.
两个篇章将分别在8月28日与9月17日开启。
I mentioned earlier the way they put two acts right separately. Yeah, they're gonna do separate release. I fucking knew it. And I think that's fine. It keeps the patch going, I guess. Like it prevents it from being like too front loaded. I think I like the way they do it things here. First of all, that means like the patch itself is more dense in terms of content, and that also means that you will have something to come back to, like not just the banner. You know, people wouldn't just come back, pull the character, and then like log out. So now you kind of like maintain that play time a bit more like spread out. So I think it's a good design personally, even though it can be kind of a bit of like a tease, right? Especially if you're like the kind of people who would like play day one and finish the main story immediately day one, right? I feel like that'll be kind of like a tease, and like it might also make you forget about the story, like when forget some details when the next act comes up. So there's some drawbacks, but overall I kind of like the way they did the approach. It's kind of spread the content a bit more like nicely, more balance.
那作为本次狩猎黑潮的关键人物，奥古斯塔与尤诺，相信各位漂泊者们都十分关心他们的能力如何。齐飞，不如就先给各位漂泊者们详细介绍一下这两位在2.6版本中即将登场的全新共鸣者。
准信。
好的，那我们就先给各位漂泊者们介绍现任气球总督奥古斯塔吧。
The fact that they're like a bunch of swords, it's really definitely like a lot of like inspired by like both like Game of Thrones and like Elden Ring. Like especially since the fact that like it's a great sword too, right? Like exactly like the way the crafted great sword like in Elden Ring is. And the fact that like you know the way they describe the crafted great sword in Elden Ring is that like there's this, it's a great sword that was like grafted with like several other swords, which literally what this sword is, basically like the one that she has. So it's kind of insane. And that sword is made as like an homage for Game of Thrones, so you know, inspired by both, I'm assuming. And then I think they managed to like infuse it in such a good way too, with the way the electromagnetism works. I think I saw some posts about like how since she's like electro, like all her power are like kind of like magnetism related, like scientific. I think they're like trying to like Wuthering Waves so far have been trying to approach the game, the lore of the game, the same way Warframe does. with their games, where like the game is like about space ninja and we get to fight this all these like ghosts and stuff like that, and like it looks super fantastic, like fantasy like, but it's actually all like science, like sci-fi. It's not like fantasy, it's more like sci-fi. Everything has to be like has like an explanation from a scientific perspective. And I think like both companies like Digital Extreme with Warframe and like Kuro Games with Wuthering Wave, I think they've been trying to do the same thing, the same concept in a way. Okay, I'm gonna skip that a bit.
气势威严。哎，西飞，这里就是总督宫吧？很磅礴气派呢。
是的
Ooh.
总督宫位于卡碧托山城区的最高处，平日里，奥古斯塔会在这里处理七丘事务，与七丘的要员们进行商谈，而漂泊者也会在2.6版本中受邀来到这里与奥古斯塔会面。奥古斯塔是一位5星导电属性公民。
Blighted Crown of the Puppet King. So her material is gonna be the enemy on the new area. Shit. And Forte is magnetism before light. See, like electro-based like design. Like there's like a lot of like science concept backing up her like her power and everything, like her explanation. So I love to see it because like that means you have to kind of blend. That means like in a way, right? I'm not saying it's like 100% possible to replicate it, but I'm just saying that in a way it feels more relatable. It feels more realistic. Like thing about it is like Zack Snyder's Superman. Like if you guys ever watched the movie like Man of Steel, well, like the way they depict Superman is more this like more human, like with like a more humanized storytelling about like how at first he struggled to fly and then like he fell down and then like he remembers his dad's like final words and like advice, and then like he would like put his fist on the ground and then he would fly again. He would try again until he actually flies like normally, right? It gives you a sense of like realism. It kind of like immerses you because they kind of blend like reality and fiction in a way.
的武器是长刃。作为七丘的传奇总督，决斗士出身的奥古斯塔是七丘崇尚力量的体现。作为夺目耀眼的
Those
七
dice
丘
don't
的
lie.
他周身仿佛流淌着金色的光芒，炽烈而纯粹。他崇尚着力量最直接的碰撞。不过其实啊，奥古斯塔本人的共鸣能力并不算出色，他如今的实力更多来自于长年累月的训练与战斗。这些经历让他拥有了丰富的战斗经验与强大的身体素质。相信大家也注意到了，他的那柄大剑呢，剑身并非浑
Oh
然一体，
shit.
而是由数不清的配件熔铸
That
而
is
成
so cool.
那是他战胜了无数决斗士后获得的战利品。每把配件都是一场胜利的证明，透露着强者的自信与骄傲。奥古斯塔的战斗同样延续了这种强大的气场，动作外放而具有威严。在战斗时，他会凭借着强悍的力量与丰富的战场经验，使用大剑对
That is so cool.
当他释放特定攻击命中敌人时，
Like that magnet power is definitely very showcased. Like the way, like look at this, like all these swords are like separated, and then like she would bring it back.
都如同本能般流畅。当获取足够的能量后，兽王鹫就会来到场上，在空中盘旋，等待着他的号令。
Man, I love the way they're doing her attacks. Oh,
能召唤兽王鹫对敌人进行迅猛突进。此时释放
she can also summon a pet.
奥古斯塔便会
That's
腾空而起
insane.
战意沸腾，对敌人释放额外的派生攻击。当释放公民解放时，奥古斯塔会发动横扫斩击，挥舞长刃对敌人进行。
Oh man. You know what I would like, you know what I would really like as like a nice attention to detail, like for this character, like for Augusta, is that like if she went to like if you pull for her and then you go to Huanglong, you'd be able to walk on the walls, like stand on the walls without losing stamina. Because like remember, she's magnetic, right? She has the power of magnetism. So I feel like if they were to add that little detail on like Huanglong's building, which are mainly like metallic, right? Man, that would be like an insane kind of like the kind of details you would never see on like an online game. It would be like the kind of details you would see on like an RPG game, like a Baldur's Gate. I don't think they would do something like that. You know, I'm more than welcome to be surprised, but I don't think they would do something like that. And if and before you guys said that it's impossible, I think it's really easy because they already categorize like the surface material of the game. Like, you know, for example, like when you're walking on dirt, like they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna sound like sand and like soil being like stepped on, right? But like if you walk on metal, you're gonna sound like your steps gonna sound like clanking around. And I feel like they can use that to like make her a super unique character, especially with her power, right? I feel like that would be like a really nice attention to detail. It's kind of useless as like a passive, I think. Most people probably wouldn't want to like stand on the walls for hours on end. But that is the kind of like little immersive details that I really love in video games, I think.
攻击，而当满足特定条件后，奥古斯塔的公民解放将会得到强化。此时，他将抽出大剑中心的长刃，对敌人发起连续的迅猛攻势，横扫战场阴霾。奥古斯塔能为队友带来护盾，而当队友释放演奏技能时，也能为奥古斯塔积攒力量，让他
She just sits down on her sword.
愈战愈勇，更快的解锁，强化公民解放。
这就是七丘族。
Man, for one moment there, I was hoping that I would see her does like a skill kind of like what Cloud from like Final Fantasy did, like when he fought against Sephiroth, where he would separate his big sword, like I think it was like on Final Fantasy VII, like Advent Children, and he would slash and then like pick up the next like the next part of the sword, and like he would slash around as he picks up every part of the sword before like combining them into one and then like slashing them. That was like kind of what I was hoping, but like this one is cool too.
实力果然不容小觑啊！
在2.6版本中，全新五星长刃，避免触雷之拳。
Holy shit, that looks so cool.
好帅的武器，仿佛镶嵌着一颗炽烈的太阳。
是的。
The power of the sun in the palm of your hand.
这把长刃上镌刻着象征七丘无上权柄的纹饰。
The fact that it's like a katana, like not a katana, like what is that, like a kiba, like the long katana, dai katana, I think.
太阳装饰环中安放着一颗金色的核心，当长刃出鞘时，这枚核心将不再隐藏它的炽热，会迸发出耀眼的辉光。
Erupts in brilliance.
当奥古斯塔挥动它时，剑光如同闪耀的日耳环绕在剑身上，即使在白天，它也会绽放最为耀眼的光芒。
这把武器给我的感觉就和奥古斯塔本人一样，如同烈日般闪耀。
是的，站在奥古斯塔面前的敌人，也将无比清晰地意识到，他们正在面对的是被七丘所承认的至强之人。那么，介绍完奥古斯塔，接下来我们来给大家介绍另一位全新公民者——四方殿玉女尤诺。
That Dragon Temple Priestess. Oh, look at that. Shit. She got like she definitely had that like multiverse, like changing the past to change the future kind of vibe like to her. And it makes sense, right? She can make prophecies. That means like she can also alter fates, right? So it's kind of in a way there's like a bit of like inspiration, like kind of like a bit similarities with like Doctor Strange and like the way like they're trying to prevent something by doing something else to prevent the inevitable death or stuff like that. Look at it's water. It's all water. How is she like an arrow character? This is so weird to see. You got the moon, you got the water, you got the blue hair, you got like the blue team. And then she's a wind character. She's an arrow attribute.
画 画面啊，
attribute.
给我一种他寄身在命运中，又主动掌握着命运的感觉。
Bound by fate, but also shaping it, right?
而且现在这个场景的氛围也的确非常符合游诺的。
How about Cantarella? She's water too. I know the fact that she's water, and then she turns into havoc. But I think I remember seeing a post about like how attributes actually like kind of like has like an explanation, right? It's not like attributes are not elements, I think. And Cantarella, so like havoc, I think is about destroying things, destruction, and like something something along the line of destructions. And that's why like for example, Cantarella is like a character that's supposed to be poisoning people, right? She destroys people's life. And like the same, like she has this like destructive nature, and that's why she's havoc. I think the same can be kind of like explain the Dungeon, for example. Like she's also havoc because she has this like crazy side of her that's like takes control sometimes, like this bloodthirsty like vigilante. And it's not an element, like you're just controlling the elements, not owning them. Yes. So like yeah, I think attributes are more like the nature of like the resonators. I think that's what they ended up like resonating with. Like depends on like what they're like, yeah, depends on like what kind of like nature they're resonating with. That's a better way to like kind of like set it, I guess. Going by that though, man, that means Rover back then must have been like one hell of like a god, like one of hell of a being, right? If they are able to like resonate with every single attribute, that means they're like omnipotent, like near omnipotent, right? If you think about it, like the way if attributes are concepts and not just elements, right? That means like being able to resonate with every concept makes you like near godlike. I'm looking. See, I feel like people that are like casual probably wouldn't like this, but like I feel like one of these days they should allow us to fight like the old Rover, the godlike Rover. It should be like fighting like what is that I forgot which game. I cannot give an example. Maybe the first Berserker Kazan, I think. It's a Souls game. But like there's this like the first boss that you fight before you enter the actual main story. This boss can actually use multiple weapons. So like he like the guy got like a hammer, and then he can change into claws, and then like he can change into like a blade. And like I would love to see something like that, like in a boss fight, like where you fight your old self, and then he would be able to like change into like all of these like multiple like weapons and elements, right? Where like for example, and we already seen like a glimpse of that in the cinematics, right? Where like when Rover fight, he would sometime use the sword, and then like he would bring out like his like havoc side, like havoc attribute, and then he would like bring out the scythe, right? And I'm hoping that like one day if we get to fight the like a version of our old self, right? That we'll be able to like actually fight something like that. A guy that can actually like, you know, adapt, improvise, and overcome. But you know, I feel like I'm reaching too high. This is an online game. I don't think creating something like that would be like something that's like feasible. Nor would like a lot of people would like something like that, because like I feel like that would be too hard of a fight on like a game that is like supposedly like accessible. But yeah, let us continue.
尤诺是一位5星气动属性公民。
I'm confused. So at first, like before 2. I think even around 2.0, I always thought like the boss material is gonna be like coincides with like the character's elements, like attributes, I mean. But now it's super unpredictable, right? Because now like this is Havoc boss, but like now you're using it on like an arrow character. And like Augusta earlier, Augusta is like an electro character, right? But she's using the upgrade material from Cartetia, which is an arrow character, an arrow boss. So like yeah, I feel like now that theory kind of falls apart from my end. And it also makes it really hard to like kind of like guess what the next like the next character is gonna use as. But fortunately, it's not that hard to like kind of save up for on all of them, so it's not that big of a problem. But I just wish they kind of like follow like a proper pattern. But I guess with like the way they do weapon design and everything, right, that like pattern is already like out of the window at this point.
而尤诺是七丘玉女中最为天才的那一个，她在乐府时刻诞生，能够与月相共鸣。
I was gonna eat, but then I saw how much the audio is getting into the mic, so I think I'm just gonna wait until I'm finished.
与直觉，他对于命运的洞察总是无比精准，几乎从来没有出错过。不过现在的尤诺似乎对于给出预言不那么感兴趣了。听营地的决斗士们说，反倒是在有黑潮泛滥的咒源看见过他的身影。月食破空而出，尤诺为决斗士点亮前进的道路。
听起来他也很擅长追踪那些藏匿于黑潮中的造物。
Wait, if she is a bow character, does she use Rectifier?
尤诺时常会轻巧地侧坐在那流转着月华清辉的弓身之上。
I can only think of two things, right? Rectifier or Gauntlet. Because ain't gonna be using a sword to fire arrows, so like the only way you do that is either if you use a gauntlet or a rectifier, and then like the bow is gonna be like a magic bow.
映出的光彩、骄傲、自信，完全不输给夜色中的月光。不过嘛，虽说身份是极受崇敬的七丘玉女之一。但尤诺却和其他庄重规矩的玉女们很不一样，她不在意世俗的规训，总是坦率又自由地表达着自己。相信这一点，大家也能从尤诺的发型、衣着打扮上看得出来。
没错，看得出来，她是一个自信又俏皮的少女，相当
confident, spirited woman with a style of her own, and yet they show us like her being vulnerable. So yeah, I feel like we're gonna be delving into her story kind of hard.
有个性的。
而在战斗中，她依然会带着月相的锋芒，配合灵动矫健的动作，绕弓作月，展现出尤诺独有的战斗姿态。在战斗中，尤诺会使用一把特殊的武器，虽然这件武器看起来十分巨大，但尤诺在使用它时依然灵巧、轻盈。释放特定技能命中敌人时，共鸣技能会获得强化。释放可进入月相流转状态，并展开弦月领域。此时，月光倾泻，尤诺可操控月环攻击敌人，并在特定的条件下获得特殊能量。当尤诺向空中跃起，可切换为新月领域，月环会变形为月弓，尤诺则会轻盈跃至弓身之上，光弓射出箭矢。
That is such a pretty animation.
特殊能量，提升自身伤害，
while healing allies.
同时，尤诺还可漂浮于空中。
She can hover mid-air.
自由移动，找到最合。
Is this the ultimate like shorekeeper? Shorekeeper's getting replaced already. She can boost it. Well, that's just a joke, right? Shorekeeper boosts like crit rate and crit damage. I don't think she's replaceable anytime soon. But like at least in terms of like exploration, and she's already getting replaced. Like usually you would turn into like the butterfly. Now you can just straight up like fly.
作战位置，释放公民解放时，尤诺可直接进入月相流转状态，并立即获得一定的特殊能量。当满足特定条件后，尤诺可释放特定技能，展开满月领域。
Half moon and full moon domain.
切换队友上场，处于满月领域中的队友将会获得伤害提升， 并恢复生命值。
And recover HP. Ooh, I think they're trying to make her kind of like the same way as like Bran is doing, like a full on like all arounder. She buffs, she heals, she does damage, she looks cool while doing it, and she spins around too. She's just Bran if he's Arrow.
同时，全新的5星碧凯万物
Gauntlet. Okay.
的注释也即将
Ooh.
上线。
哦，虽然是碧凯，但却是十分轻盈优雅的设计呢。
没错，这件碧凯整体以流畅的线条。
That is actually pretty.
手腕处有月桂
Does not look like a gauntlet at all.
而在手肘上方悬浮着新月般的弯弧，二者通过流动着的月亮纹路相连接，星河幻影在其中缓缓流动。当尤诺挥手时
And the fact that it's like one side, only on one hand. She about to turn into like Kamen Rider. It's on one hand only.
命运的流向，尤诺更希望将自己
Oh wait, no, it's on both hands. Never mind.
在自己手中。这件精致优雅的碧凯所带来的反差感，恰恰也完美契合了他与众不同的性格。
看来万物持存的注释，既是武器的称谓，也是对尤诺主动掌握命运的精神注解。
是的，非常期待看到这件武器在尤诺手中绽放光彩，也希望漂泊者们喜欢。
好，以上就是对2.6版本全新共鸣者254塔和尤诺的介绍。接下来给大家送上本次前沿通讯的第一个兑换码，漂泊者们记得在兑换码有效期内，在游戏内设置界面进行兑换哦。
I'm gonna skip this part because like, you know, most people probably already seen this. We're just gonna keep it around for a bit and then like skip it around. Feel free to pause if you guys need it, but we're gonna keep going now.
好的，这片名为桑古伊斯寿元的
Sanguis Plateau. Sanguis is, I think, blood in Latin, as I said earlier. So I'm assuming it's the like the plateau of blood, the bloody plateau, or something like that.
号角即将再次吹响。
That screams a lot of like Elden Ring.
那么，让我们先通过一段视频了解一下这片全新的区域吧。
And yep, this is the new area. So I was right earlier when I never seen this building in like this current Septimon, so this isn't the new area. Elden Ring, hear me out. There's 3 games that comes into my mind when I see this map. Elden Ring, Ghost of Tsushima with the foliage and like the grasses and everything. The swords like the Forgotten Battlefield like reminds me of like the Elden Ring, but also Expedition 33, especially with the way the stone is shaped. And also again, Final Fantasy. That's the first thing that comes into my mind when I see this. Which is really funny because I don't play that much Final Fantasy. Two stones guarding. Indo tabang baru nggak ada ini. Yes. Indo. Indo tapi lebih senang ngomong bahasa Inggris supaya lebih universal. Supaya lebih gampang ngobrol sama orang-orang pendatang baru. Jadi rata-rata lebih sering pakai Inggris. Adalah benar. Yes, I don't really promote my Indonesian side, especially with my stream timing, but yes, I am Indonesian. Oh shit! Oh! True. Ooh. Hello. Wait. Who raid? Oh my God, Sue! Holy shit! Hello everyone. Welcome. Oh shit. Wait, Sue was streaming. I did not see it. No. Welcome raiders. Thank you so much for the raid. Hello.
Look. Fitting with the new region.
Oh, thank you for the follow.
Patrick.
Why is there a hammer on your screen? That's an add-on. I installed that for my Twitch.
Music. We're in bikini bottoms.
Oh my god. She's Patrick.
Fitting to fondant.
But hello, Raiders. Welcome to my stream. My name is Lazy Constantine. I usually am a viewer on Sue's stream. Oh shit. I'm fumbling hard right now. I stream every Saturday night right around this time usually. At least once a week, which is this time, and sometimes more when I do have time. But most of the time I'm at work, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, welcome to my stream. I mainly play Wuthering Wave on stream, but I do also play other games. Like for example, last time I played Battlefield 6. I think I also played a bit of Expedition 33 on stream. I also played other gacha games like Nikkei, Punishing Grey Raven, Infinity Nikki. Oh my god, I have so many gacha games. I don't think I can list all of them, like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin, and stuff like that. But yes, I played a lot of games. I'm a gamer. Battlefield 6, we're so back. Did you like Battlefield 6? It looked really cool. Here's what I say. I've like before Battlefield 6, my previous Battlefield was Battlefield 2 and Bad Company. So I have no experience with the newer Battlefield, but the experience that I feel from playing Battlefield 6 is that like it's a bit more like COD. I feel like there is a lot less emphasis on like the vehicle battles and a lot more of like people pushing, sprinting, and then killing everyone. So if that's more of your thing, then I think you would like it. Personally, I think it's fine, but I feel like it's not something that I'm expecting from Battlefield, if that makes sense. Like to keep you guys like for context, I don't really play a lot of like COD and like Battlefield. Like my FP, like the kind of FPS I play is like Valorant and Counter-Strike. More like tactical, more slow pace, and definitely less players per match. But that's basically my experience with Battlefield 6. Marvel Rivals, I actually never played Marvel Rivals. I've been trying to avoid multiplayer games actually. Believe it or not, I've been trying to finish my Steam library. I'm trying. Battlefield 6 is more of Battlefield 3 on steroids. I feel like you would probably know more then. You already knew more than I do. Like my last Battlefield is again Battlefield 2 and Bad Company. Like Bad Company is a single player game, and like Battlefield 2, the other one is like I'm playing by myself. I played it when I was like a elementary school or like kindergarten, one of the two. So yeah, like most people that are like playing more FPS probably knew more than me. I have played them as well. They were amazing. Bad Company is really good. I have a good time with it. Definitely part of my a great part of my childhood. I think more recently, something that I would definitely like more is like, I wish there's Titanfall 3. Oh my fucking god, where the hell is it? I have purchased over 10 games last week on Steam, despite knowing that I have over 20 games that I need to complete on my library. Oh, same. Except that maybe you can definitely multiply the games that I have on library by like 50. Still Appen Legend exists. You mean cease to exist? Because like I've heard that they canceled Titanfall 3 because they're trying to like prop Apex Legend up, which I hate. I really do. I hate Apex because it kills Titanfall. I hate Apex for what it did to Titanfall, guys. I swear. And also I'm just bad at Battle Royale, I guess. But yeah, shit. If you guys are from Sue's stream, Thank you so much for following the raid. If you guys have to go, if you guys have to eat, you guys someplace else to be, feel free to go. And for Sue, thank you so much for raiding. I really appreciate it, and I wish I caught your stream. Man, I worked too much this past 2 days. I've always hated Apex. It ruined Titanfall. Me too. I really hate it because like I've heard the news of like how like they're gonna like release Titanfall 3 and then they canceled it, and then I think recently they had another news where they trying to revive Titanfall 3 back, and then they canceled it again. They canceled the revival plan, and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? But hey, in other news, I heard Battlefield 6 is gonna have a single player story, so maybe if it's good and people like it a lot, and then a lot of people buy Battlefield 6, maybe EA would finally stick with single player experience again. Not gonna be. I'm not gonna hold my breath on that, but it's the same as when Warner Bros. Who canceled a Wonder Woman game because LFR. Yes, I feel that. Single player, multiplayer, and a free BR mode that they tease. Yeah. But like, if a lot of people said good things about the single player, right? Then like maybe they'll be like, oh, hey, it turns out our players are still into single player games. Who would have thought? Definitely not Andrew Wilson. If you guys don't know who that name is, it's the CEO of EA. It's EA. Can't trust from too long because it's the same company where the CEO said he wanted to charge player for reloading. That was the older CEO, right? The Andrew Wilson, I don't think it's Andrew Wilson who said that. I think like it was like one of the former CEO, like the older guy. Was it like, no, I don't remember the name. But I think they are from, I don't think it's the CEO, like I don't think it's Andrew Wilson who said it, like the CEO. I think it's someone else from the company. But yes, that's the EA is the company that said that. So yes, I will definitely not be holding my breath again, as I said earlier. I have a lot of games that I can still play. I had Wuchang, Fallen Feather that I wanted to play, and then they released patch 1.5, so I'm waiting until they fix that. And then I have Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon. If you guys don't know, it's Skyrim but like dark fantasy in a way, and like lower budget. And apparently they're gonna release a update on late August, like at the end of August. So I'm also waiting on that. So I guess in the meantime, I have my gacha games to keep me company, right? And Battlefield 6, which gonna end tomorrow, the beta. So I guess we can't even play that after this. I guess we're sticking with the gacha games again. At least gacha games comes up every 6 weeks or so. You already knew like the timeline. But yeah, I think we diverged long enough. We should probably continue. So again, this area, right? I was talking about earlier before the raid happens, but like this area feels like, I'm gonna repeat this, but this area, there's like three other games that kind of like comes into my mind when I see the new area in Wuthering Wave. So I mentioned earlier Elden Ring with like the colorways, and like this feels like Kalit, if like Kalit does not have like all the scarlet rot and everything like that, if the place is not rotting. And also the second place would be what was that game again? Ghost of Tsushima. Like I'm pretty sure like there's a part where they showcase the game like Ghost of Tsushima during like the fall season, and like everything was like red and orange and everything, and this definitely gives the same vibe. And then the third game would be Expedition 33. This definitely like, it reminds me of like that the beach area and like Expedition 33, where like the stones are like this. And they definitely have the the red grasses, like the red forest in there in the game too. I think it's ancient forest, not red forest. Maybe there's both. I'm pretty sure there's like two part of like the map. But like yeah, that those three games comes into my mind when I see this area. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, you see it? You do? Because like especially like the cliff, right? The rock, like the cliff form, like the rock formation. It screams a lot like the earlier area in like the Act 1 in like Expedition 33. Or like around Act 2. I mean, heck, like I think if you guys played Expedition 33 and then you are able to kind of like explore the map. So like this is like a couple hours into the game. No spoiler in the story, but like in the side of the maps, you can kind of see like this big creatures, like right, that looks like kind of like this like area right here, like this big like kind of like bowl, and then they're like eating the mountain and stuff. Like straight up, that's like what comes into my mind when I saw this. But yeah, Kuro Games taking a lot of like inspirations. Oh shit. Okay, first thing comes into my mind again. This is literally like the starting area in like Spring Meadow. Spring Meadow, I think in Expedition 33, I think. And another one that comes into my mind would be like something like a wuxia game, like a Chinese like martial art like cultivation story, like manga like or manhwa or like an anime where like they would like open the map and then like you can kind of see like this like place like covered in fogs and stuff, right? But definitely like a lot of like Expedition 33 vibes to it too. I'm wondering if they just straight up got inspired by it. Oh, it looks so pretty at night. Holy shit. Wait, what is this like? Elden Ring? Elden Ring? Uh-oh. I hope they don't take too much inspiration from Elden Ring and then start killing every NPC in the story. Please no. I've seen enough people died in Elden Ring. Oh god. Like I think this area was the one that I was talking about earlier too. Like this area looks like a place where like you had the final boss fight, or like where the enemy kind of like comes into, like you finally arrive. I've been waiting for you. Or like you're finally here. Like this is it. This is our final like confrontation, right? And then someone's gonna die. And the way it looks so similar to like the part where like Yuno got turned into a soul, right? So I'm hoping this is not her dying and then turning into a fucking tree. Please no. It would be kind of sick because like Gacha game doesn't usually kill their characters. Like especially characters that shows up in the banner, but like I feel like it would definitely be an epic thing to do. Because it thickens the plot, right? That's how I feel. It shows you like a real consequence in the story.
自李大西塔第一次黑潮爆发以来，桑古伊斯兽源便因其特
桑
殊的
古伊
地势，常年处于一种危险的回音能量负极状态。
Bro, this is literally Expedition 33. This is like the place where you fought like the Sakapatate, the big like freaking moving dolls and machines, where you fought like the gestrels, like literally. If you guys play Expedition 33, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about.
为了黑潮残像的巢穴，每逢黑潮的涨潮期，无数气球人
And like, and even this area is still similar. It still gives the same vibe with the tent, everything. Like, if you guys remember the Gestural Village in the Expedition 33, it's literally like a bunch of like building, like makeshift building, and then like they added like some like tent to it, like freaking like cloaking, I don't know how to say it. English is struggling right now. But you guys know what I'm talking about.
怀揣着信念，踏上狩猎的征程，用生命为这场角逐画上句点。在兽源通路上，随处
And again,
可见的
Elden Ring, Ghost of Tsushima, and then like the forgotten battlefield in like Expedition 33. Holy shit, there's a lot of like inspiration. I love when game takes inspiration like that, mix and match. And this is straight up this is Elden Ring and Expedition 33. So in Expedition 33, there's a map that is like underwater. This is super early, so this is technically not a spoiler, like maybe like a couple hours spoiler. But like there's a in the earlier in Act 1 of the story, there's like the part where underwater where like there's like buildings, destroyed buildings and stuff where you explore, and then I think you had to fight Goblu, I think. Yeah, the big clown. And for Elden Ring, if you guys never played the expansion Shadow of the Earth 3, there's a called like Stone Wave Cliff, I think, the area. There's like this like cliff where there's like a big hole, and then if you jump down into it, there's like all these like it's like an old civilization, but then like there's like these like weird like purple oozes coming out of like the map. Here, let me Stone Wave Cliff Elden Ring. I hope I'm right. That's Expedition 33. That's not Elden Ring. Who the hell? So Stone Wave Cliff is like the thing from like Expedition 33. Gotcha. So Elden Ring coffin location. No. Shadow of the Earth 3. Stone Coffin Fissure. There we go. Stone Coffin Fissure. See? Oh wait, no. Here. Oh fuck. Why? Where's the picture? See, okay, there we go. Here. Okay, here we go. There we go. Do you guys see the similarities? It's not 1-to-1, by the way. But do you guys see the similarities? Like the one I'm trying to say? Like, you know, purple, blue hue here. Destroyed buildings, you know, abandoned civilization. Surrounded by cliffs and rocks. I see the vision. I see it, thank you. At least I'm not crazy then. Some stuff remind me of the Destiny 2 map. Unfortunately, I don't play Destiny 2. I don't play mainstream games, a lot of them. Mostly price. I used to live in a third world country. We don't have money for Destiny 2, much less every expansion that comes out every year. So I probably would have played back then if I had the money, but I just didn't. But I can definitely see what you're saying. I think like probably like some like when you fought the alien thingies, right? I remember seeing like I think like in the earlier part there's like abandoned city. I think when you play, and I can kind of see what you're trying to say, like what you're trying to describe. But I don't have enough experience on that game. Elden Ring, oh, hard straight up like Elden Ring. Oh, the temple is here. Interesting.
狩猎的号角已经吹响，期待着漂泊者们亲自探索桑古伊斯兽园，踏上狩猎征程。对了，西飞，我刚刚还注意到，在狩猎者营地的高山上，有一个长得
That's an echo?
鹿角形态的
I didn't even notice that's an echo.
深海。
外形是不是还挺让你迷惑的？不过啊，它确实是深海。它的名字
It's a
叫做
chicken.
猎号，是一种号角。
It's a chicken.
它会在狩猎活动开始
Beginning and at the end of a hunt. It.
和收队时发出号角声，既是狩猎的信号，也可以说是一种对黑潮造物的震慑吧。
居然是
Chicken horn.
深海。
狩猎者营地内还活跃着不少日本人喜爱的小帮手深海，他们的名字叫做
Wuthers.
虽体型较小，但超级能干哦。
Incredibly supportive.
他们喜爱和决斗士互动。
Oh, I definitely need that in my life. Some supportive force. A force.
偶尔也会有决斗士。
Even confide in. Just as I said, I need them in my life.
心事，他们会耐
They can use the Wooters as like a freaking therapist.
心聆听，并回以温暖治愈的拥抱。
Warm, comforting hugs, very fluffy and cute. Oh my god.
另外， 在这里还有负责整个营地武器工具、日常维护的铁匠乌塔塔，他们比常规形态的乌塔塔更加老成稳重一些，工作起来也是一丝不苟。
看起来营地内的深海也在尽力帮助各位七丘勇士们的狩猎征途啊！
提到深海，在2.6版本，我们也将能够获取一些新的深海，它们分别是石脊龙、
Corosaurus. So freaking dinosaur. Oh, the Vile Sovereign. I'm guessing that's the Puppet King. And Lady of the Sea. So I'm that's 2 bosses, right? So I'm assuming the Puppet King is gonna be the one that is like for Augusta earlier. The
相信大家都很熟悉了。
是的，在2.6版本更新后，海
and then Lady of the Sea. Oh. Oh, what is who that? This looks so familiar. Oh my god, it's eluding my mind. That fucking guy. That fucking guy on Elden Ring. The one that talks a lot. The one that like the one that tried to stop you from becoming Elden Lord. God. Not Godfrey. Not Godfrey. Not God. Elden Ring. Gideon Ofnir. Looks like except he's probably more OP. He definitely looks like Gideon Ofnir if he actually has aura. And also Mia. Oh my god, Mia is actually like gonna be like farmable. Oh shit. I have to kill her so many times in order to like build like you.
入讨伐强敌列表，漂泊者们可进行重复挑战。
不过石脊龙和尾
The
兽的
False
神王
Sovereign. That is so funny because like if that's an actual reference to like Gideon Ofnir, because Gideon Ofnir is a tarnish, right? He's someone that can become an Elden Lord, but he failed. So he's technically a false sovereign, huh? Big brain, maybe?
这两个名字听起来有
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they took too much from solo leveling.
遇到了全新敌人吗？
是的，石脊龙是一种出没于兽园的巨
There's a
型
T-Rex.
残像。刚刚我们在 PV 中也有
What is this, Monster Hunter? This doesn't look like a guy that would show up in this game. I thought this is Monster Hunter.
看到它体型庞大，浑身附着蓝色肩甲，其中一些特殊石脊龙个体的现身，也意味着涨潮
Maybe. Hey, you'll never know, sippers.
期的到来。不过，尾座的身亡
That is so cool.
是个神秘的个体，它会在黑潮中隐匿自身的行踪，伴随着漂泊者们对兽园深入的探索，或许会遭遇到这个特殊的敌人。更多信息。
Venom? Power Ranger Dino Hunter. For real? You get Dino Hunter and then like you got like the enemy you get the enemy that's straight up coming from like freaking Power Ranger.
它会在黑潮中隐匿自身的行踪，伴随着漂泊者们对兽园深入的探索，或许会遭遇到这个特殊的敌人。
Man, I can see like a fight like that in like Elden Ring.
逐步揭晓了。
More like the attack has like follow-ups.
不容小觑啊！
6 of them.
另外，
And you just panic rolling.
老深海也将获得自己的梦魇形态，包括梦魇、
Nightmare Gulp. Oh my god, Nightmare Gulpuff. Who the hell would ever thought like Gulpuff as a nightmare? And Cheerpuff.
梦魇、紫雨露。
Wait,
巡回猎手
the nightmare. So the nightmare enemy is like the nightmare normal the normal echo that got a nightmare version uses the same skill. It seems like it doesn't change the skills.
及梦魇、金蛰猎手。
这么多梦魇深海，是会有什么新的深海和鸣效果吗？
是的。
Oh no.
2.6版本将推出2种全新的深海和鸣效果。
We can already see it. Augusta, you know. Can already see it. This is gonna be damage related, and this is gonna be like support slash healing related. Like mark my words. We're gonna find out in the next 10 seconds.
龙斗祝风之冠与西界同条之律，和2.5版本推出的失序彼岸之梦一样，这两种合并效果都是3件深海触发套装效果。
3 echoes, interesting.
漂泊者们可以前往全新的梦魇
And also Nightmare Nest.
和潮痕岩滩。
Okay, so I guess they're sticking with the Nightmare Nesting system. I don't know how to feel about that. Like I know most of you guys probably new here, but like in the 2.5 preview, I was a bit more pessimistic with like the whole Nightmare Nest thing, because like it makes the grinding simpler, and at the same time also limits how much you can get every day. So I don't know how to feel about that, because usually it's about, you know, you have to make a route and then you actually explore the map, right, as you like try to grind the echoes. But now it's just like you just go to this, you just fast travel to this specific spot, and then you can grind it 35 times today, and then you come back tomorrow, do the same thing again. Feels less like a hunting and more like, you know, chores. And I know it's weird saying this in like when I'm playing a gacha games right now, but I'm someone that actually kind of like hateful and like not hateful. I kind of hate gacha, and also I hate chores. I hate daily system, everything. I think like in terms of like daily system, I think Punishing Grey Raven probably does it the best, where like the daily gives you some stuff, but like a lot of like the materials and the resource, like the currencies, they come from from doing the weeklies. Like there's like some game modes that are like weekly and bi-weekly, and like a lot of your like currency comes from there. So that's like what I kind of prefer, because like, you know, instead of like playing every day, you can play once a week. Like you only you know, instead of washing your shirt every day, you get to wash them every week now. You know, less chores. Who doesn't like it? And also Phantom Carousel. Ooh. Oh wait, Phantom. Phantom is like the shiny ones. I still hate that they're putting this on like advanced. Why couldn't they just bring back Elusive Realm and then like, you know, give us like the permanent content where like you can, you know, a skill-based permanent content with a proper reward, right? Like think about it like this. Virtual Crisis. A lot of people really like how difficult like the fights could be in that game mode, and I managed to max out mine the last Virtual Crisis, but I kind of wish that like when you reach to that point, you get like more rewards, right? Doesn't have to be gameplay affecting, you know, it doesn't have to be currencies, because like currencies are like affecting gameplay, right? So like a lot of people would complain, but like skins, you could have like locked the Phantom there. And if you make the gameplay, if you make the game mode permanent, you know, no one is locked. You know, it's just basically like a skill barrier that people can eventually like get through if they want to. So I don't know. Also, it kind of gives you like more incentives to play the harder version of the content. For example, like even though I like Souls game, I don't like doing hologram in Wuthering Wave, because the reward is so not worth it. It feels like a waste of time. So a lot of my holograms are unfinished, even though I love challenging fights and difficulties. Virtual Crisis, I think Virtual Crisis, like with like the difficulty challenge and like the difficulty options and giving you title for it, I think it's a step in the good direction. It's the kind of thing I like. I wish they lean more towards it, but I kind of know, you know, I'm not the target demographic for like that kind of game, right? For this kind of game, because, you know, gacha games has to be casual friendly, has to be accessible, and all that good stuff. Although I am seeing a trend of like Wuthering Wave trying to move from that, so hopefully they do something different. We'll see.
意象狡恶。好的，介绍了这么多， 现在为大家带来本次前
Second redemption and code of this broadcast. Okay.
兑换领取。现在让我们稍事休息，一会儿回来给各位漂泊者们带来新版本。
All right, I'm gonna move it to here. I'm gonna pause it for a couple seconds. If you guys want to redeem it from my stream here, if you guys never seen the stream and you want to redeem it, just do it now. Just pause in this moment and do it now, because I'm gonna skip back to like the talking part.
由我和霸王一起为
What is his name?
我是你们的
Kai?
好朋友策划阿凯。接下来就由我
霸王
和霸王一起
霸王
为大家带来2.6版本的玩法活动及
New
带来的
gameplay
新角
feature,
色和武器活动
Resonator
相
and
关情报了。在
convenes.
2.6版本更新后，
Okay,
全
we
新
already
五
knew.
星共鸣者奥
They're
古
both
斯塔
gonna
的活
come.
动唤起
Eternal
无限
radiance
悬
in the
念
on
由
the
我率先
crown.
开启漂泊者们可以从中换取威风飒爽的七修总督奥古斯塔，他也将成为大家狩猎途中的助力。此外，五星共鸣者克莱
Carlotta rerun. Oh,
塔
interesting.
的活动换取另一种喧嚣，
When
以及
silence
五星
falls.
共鸣者守爱人的活动换取。
Man, diabolical. The fact that they're doing like a support rerun, and then after that, it's gonna be like which is like a support too.
直至海水褪色也将同步开启。同时，全新五星常任玉美
That's
作
kind
为
of
之船
crazy. I don't know why they're doing that.
死于
I wonder if they're doing that because the event. I think here's my theory, right? Is because it's that they're doing it because like the buffs for the end game on the next season is gonna be like something related to healing too. So that's why they want to have like if people doesn't want to if people doesn't want to pull for they get to they can use the buff, like they can utilize the buff with Shorekeeper instead. Maybe, we'll see. It's just a
无
theory.
新续
A
协
game
调的活动
theory.
换取也将同期开启。在以上换取活动结束后，全新五星共鸣者有
Okay,
诺的
good
活
you
动
know.
换取鳗鱼银缺石轴将会开启。
Across
漂泊者们
time
可以从中
waxes
换
and
取
wanes.
皎洁灵动的七球玉女尤诺，让她加入你的队伍，用月相伴你见证。
Man, I'm already committed to getting every character in Wuthering Wave until 3.0. So at least for the next like 5 characters or so, like we got Augusta, Chisa, Chuyen, and Galbrina. I think I'm gonna have all of them, and then we'll have to see whether I will stick around with Wuthering Wave. I'm not gonna lie, because I've really been thinking a lot of like dropping my gacha games because I really hate doing dailies. But Wuthering Wave is like actually really good, so like really solid. So I've been having a hard time stopping. And some other games too, like Nikkei, for example, and Girls for Online 2, and Punishing Grey Raven, for example, is having like a collaboration with like Devil May Cry right now. So I definitely can leave that. I gotta get my Dante and Virgil. And I think I also pulled character on Zenless Zone Zero, even though I don't play the game. Man, I'm such a wasteful person now that I'm starting like describing every stuff I'm doing with my gacha games.
狩猎征程以及五星共鸣者夏
Oh
红的
no,
换取
Shakona.
诗与乐
Bro. Why are they screwing my bard girl like that? Why would anyone pick Shakona though? Like why? They're both support. They're both the same they're both the same attribute. Like why would anyone pull for Shakona like when there's Yuno's banner running with her? Doesn't make sense. It would have made more sense if they do Shakona first and then Shorekeeper after. Well, that would be really, I think that would like hurt the sales a bit probably. But I don't know. I feel like she's getting screwed right now.
的交响也将同步开启，漂泊者们可以从中换取五星共鸣者夏空，
五星共鸣者
同时五星碧凯万物持存的注释以及五星配枪林间的咏叹调的
Okay, the weapon banner.
同
I heard whispers that Black Shores has launched a new testing project. Ooh.
黑海岸研发出了一些
Some autonomous combat machines invited Rover to test their activity. I'm assuming this is an event.
这就是2.6的全新作战装置模拟。
Oh damn, look at that ass. Title Defense Simulator. Ooh, you get a title for it, so I'm assuming this is kind of like Virtual Crisis.
主题活动潮式模拟 简而言之，这是一个类塔。
It's tower defense event. Okay.
因为作战装置需要分给没有作战能力的黑海岸成员使用，所以在测试装置的过程中，漂泊者也不能依赖自身强大的实力哦。在活动中，漂泊者可以在地面、墙壁、天花板等位置部署陷阱机关，利用机关的效果以及库洛洛的射击来阻止残像的攻势。残像的攻势也会逐渐变强，击杀残像，获取资源。
It's an actual tower defense game.
更强的敌人吧。在扼守要地模式中，漂泊者将挑战固定关卡，通过关卡可以解锁更多作战装置，以及能够为战斗带来增益的守望协议。扼守要地模式中还有不同的难度选择。
The UI interface looks a lot like Virtual Crisis, so I'm wondering if they're doing the same thing where like, you know, it's gonna come back every now and then with a new title.
扼守要地模式特定关卡后将会解锁孤绝险地模式。
That's right.
在孤绝险地中，大家能够体验到更多
more stage layout, varied enemy combos.
同时还能够利用丰富多样的战术和物品，来更有效率的对抗来袭的残像。参与活动可以获得新生。
Okay, they say tower defense, right? Where the hell are the towers? All I see so far was the traps.
深海、异象、无龟的谬误等限时奖励，在 2.6 版本结束后，没有完成潮湿模拟活动的漂泊者，依然可以通过常驻活动界面。
Oh, permanent event. Okay, there we go. Nice.
常驻奖励，在 2.6 版本中，我们也将在全息战略中更新新的敌人——全息战略海之女。
Hologram Lady of the Sea. No.
期待漂泊者们前来。
Mia.
当然
Now you're turning into hologram.
桑古伊斯兽园的开放，本次我们也将推出以兽园为主题的系列区域探索活动。
Focus on the region. Okay. Typical like exploration area. Okay, we already knew about that. Like, you know, that's a normal thing. It's kind of like the where you have to reach a certain point, and then like the ones where you have to take photos.
兽园一起见证尘封的过往吧。最后，行旅图集桑古伊斯兽园现实探索。
Oh, this is the travel atlas. Okay. Interesting. I thought the first one was the atlas, but I guess I was wrong.
可以帮助漂泊者更好的体验全新区域，感受桑古伊斯兽。
I personally hate an like travel atlas kind of event because it forces you to explore everything during the event duration. And sometimes there are days where I would do it in like the last day of the event, and then I don't feel like exploring the game. Instead of like exploring the map, I'm just checking the checkbox, like checking a list of like things that I can do and like things I can collect, and I don't like that feeling personally. I'm just the kind of gamer that really hates being like restricted, like having my freedom restricted. That's why I like open world games tends to be my favorite, because like you can do everything at your own pace, at your own discretion. So for me personally, I really hate like these like time gating. But you know, more resources, more loot nights. Mark of the Wild. The way they do the logo reminds me of like freaking like Jurassic Park. Or like that one game. Oh, that one game where you're like hunting. I'm pretty sure that game closed down though already. But I remember this logo feels familiar, where like there's like a claw. Tracking expertise. Got hunting approval from the hunter skill.
在活动中，涨潮期后遁逃的残像隐藏着刺激的频率，漂泊者们需要将环境中的残像痕迹收集起来，在寻痕界面将这些痕迹中残留的频率用移动与连线的方式去联系起来。
What the fuck, man?
连线形成完整的频率图案，从而推断出残像的去向。
I thought it's like an action. Guys, I don't know if you guys know Warframe, but like when they say hunting, I thought it was like actually hunting, kind of like in Warframe, where you can like hunt for animals and then maybe save them, like bring them to the preservation. You know, you can sedate them and then like capture them and stuff like that. Like not a puzzle game. It threw me off so hard. Holy shit.
伴随着难度的
难度
攀升，
模式。
痕迹拼图将更加复杂。参与活动可以获得新生、养成材料等奖励。接下来，休闲活动第二
Leisure events, second coming of
2.6版本中开启。
Solaris Ultra. Is that like a snide to like how like people name phones these days? Like, you know, iPhone 16 Pro, iPhone 16 like 16 Plus, 16, 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max Ultra Super, like, you know, like it's like a snide, an attack.
索拉官方诚意巨献，但是当然还是出现了一些小
Little
小的意
twist.
外。有人通过漏洞
Someone
进入了
hacked
第二
into
索
the
拉的
game's
服务器
oh
篡改了正常的
tampered
游
with
戏
the
数
game
据
data,
导致场景出现了一
cause
些异常。怎么
anomalies.
个异常法？说来听听。比如，当荆州城出现了3个良心。
The fact that they displayed this kind of reminds me of I don't know if you guys Honkai Star Rail, Panaconi. There is a map where like it was like I think during adventure, like during the main quest where you play as a venturine and you walk into like this miniature town, and then like everything is broken, and then like the NPCs like glitching through the wall, glitching through the floor, talking to the wall, like sliding around without any collision and stuff like that. I feel like that's doing the same thing here.
商人，怎么感觉又诡异又好笑的？想不到这个人还蛮有创意的。那需要漂泊者做些什么呢？抓坏人吗？我已经准备好了。
这些异常现象分布在不同的场景。
Oh yeah, look at that. Like, oh,
需要在
Minecraft?
这些场景中锁定这些异常表现，既可协助修改异常，漂泊者还可以根据自己的喜好将异常回归正轨，或者修改为更加疯狂的状态。
是修
What
复
the
异常
fuck?
还是彻底疯狂？感兴趣的漂泊者们可千万
Fix them or
不要
embrace
错
the
过哦
madness.
当然，完成场景任务即可获得新生、养成材料等奖励。2.6版本中还会开放一个特别的活动——月华解谜。
Huanglu style moon reading. Oh man. Is this like a date mission? No. Moonlit lunar fate. The way this look let's hear more.
我们可以和尤诺一同
Gaze at the
远眺
night
星空
sky with
解
Luno.
读月相
Interpret the lunar. Oh, is it like am I supposed to learn tarot cards? No.
活动期间，每日登录游戏可以获取1枚海中月，消耗海中月便可揭晓一次月相的奥秘，获取包含新生在内的
Oh, it's
对应
just
项
login.
同
Oh.
时还可以获得一份在当日
Last
所
for
生
today.
效的增益效果
Ooh.
需要注意的是，若当日多次解谜月相，旧效果将会被新的月相增益效果覆盖。累计解谜7种月相可获得奖励，限定头像贤望慧
Wax
硕。
and wane.
这枚活动专属的头像将作为漂泊者探寻月相秘密的永恒印记。
和
Oh.
永诺一起收集属于你的夜象祝福吧。
另外，乌物流与先行公约再度。
The fact that they put special attention to that, I'm starting to wonder more if my theory about Yuno being the main character, like the main character of the main quest, is like actually like accurate, right? Because I was talking earlier about how like the way they showcase Augusta and like Yuno in the trailer, it makes it feel as if like it's the same. It feels like Yuno is basically Jinzi, and then Augusta is basically Changli. And if you guys remember during the main story in Wuthering Wave, early on in the main quest, you get to know Jinzi main story, Jinzi's background story throughout the main quest, and then you got teased with Changli's story, and then you explored that more in the companion story. So I was making a theory earlier about Yuno being like the main focus of the main quest, and you're gonna get her exposition throughout the main story, and then after that, Augusta gets a companion story. That was my theory. We'll see if I'm right or not. But I was basically talking earlier. I think another example I was using was like the way they showcase Yuno being more close and personal in terms of like telling the story, and like while like Augusta is being a more like formal. in like the way they focus on like the characters. So that's my theory. That was my theory. We'll see. We'll see.
参与活动并于物流车处上
For an
传
event,
关闭
upload
闸
your
记，
adventure
即可获得新
logs,
生
get
换生博文等
astrites.
奖励。7日
That's
签到活动
a lot of
仅售
exploration
出
events.
也会在 2.6 版本中
Okay,
准
the
时
typical
替
login
大家
stuff.
见面登录游戏即可获得签到奖励。此外，值此狩猎启程之际，活动
Ooh. Yes, now I can open my side accounts and get extra resources.
索拉里斯回归邀约将会开启，漂泊者可参与活动，向昔日同伴发出邀
Invite
请，
your friends back
完
to
成
the
对应的
game.
活跃任务即可获得新生、贝币等奖励。好的，除了新的版本活动
We
和玩
covered
法
game events and gameplay. Let's move on to some quality of life. Okay.
体验方面的优化。
好的，这部分就由我来
Walk
给
you
各
through
位
the
朋友们
updates.
介绍吧。首先，在2.6版本图鉴系统万物图鉴里新增了一个全新的分类——百战断行，也就是武器图鉴。漂泊者
Okay,
可以在这里
nice.
集中查看游戏中所有
Okay,
武器
finally.
及武器投影的信息。在后续版本，我们还将新增深海图鉴，收录更多索拉里斯世界的知识与有趣信息，请各位漂泊者们敬请期待。然后是关于操作简化的相关优化。
Okay.
2.6
Claim all?
新增了
Yes!
游戏内大
Yes! Finally! Death listen moment. God. The amount of times I complain about this in Genshin and like I think in Honkai Star Rail even where like bro just put claim all in the achievement part. Like if we want to read it, we'll read it. Most people finish this achievement not because they want to read it. It's because they wanted to get the freaking astrites. Just let us claim it all in one click. I think even something like a game like Girls Frontline does it. I'm glad they're doing it. Holy shit.
大部分界面的奖励一键领取功能，比如索拉指南、
Including guidebook?
以及
Nice.
绝大部分的玩法活动等。漂泊者只需在
Just
奖
need
励
to
领取界
need to
面点击
click
任意
any
一个
claim.
就
Nice.
可以
So
按
like
照
clicking
即可
one.
直接领
Now they don't add a claim all button. They just make like when you claim one, you claim all of them.
领
Okay.
取当前页面所有可领取的奖励，告别以往需要逐个手动点击的繁琐操作啦。
Thank the lords.
确实有效简化了操作。
Huge improvement in efficiency.
这
Yes.
次还将带来 PC 端图形性能的技术更新。
Okay. FSR. Ooh. This update is gonna be so good for like my Steam Deck. Because I'm using Steam Deck, so like I also have a Steam Deck that I use to play sometimes. FSR will be really nice. I'm glad they're finally adding it.
首先，在2.6版本更新后，将开放更多显卡设备支持
Frame
插
generation.
针功能 将支
Mm.
持部分 AMD 显卡开启 FSR 3，以及部分
FSR
显卡开启 XE SSR。
XCSS.
同时，我们也优化升级了英伟达显卡插针技术支持
DLSS4
DLSS4 版本，并根据实际的显卡设备，最多可支持开启4倍插针，进一步。
That is so funny. So basic. Oh, that is so sad, right? So basically, like think about it like this, guys. A lot of gacha games out there, they cap your FPS, right? I can only count with one hand like the amount of games that like gacha games that like allows you to unlock your FPS. It seems like the way Wuthering Wave is doing it is that like if you don't use frame generation, you're capped in 120. You cannot go above it because like there's a cap, there's a frame rate cap in the Wuthering Wave, right? And it's 120. And I think like, you know, my PC is already struggling in 120. But the fact that like if you turn the LSS4 on, you can just straight up like blew through the cap. Man, that sounds like freaking like pay to win feature right there. I'm straight up getting paywall even because I only have a 4090 and then like you need the fifth like you need like Nvidia 5000 series to like get them. Man.
提升游戏的运行效率，让硬件
Sucks to
能
be
得到
me, I
最高效
guess.
的发挥。希望这部分优化可以
Also,
让游戏
300 frames on freaking Wuthering Wave is insane. Considering, like, especially if you guys look at this, right? Like, I don't know if this is because the time is different, but if you see, there is like a difference in shading. So I don't know why, but I want to assume that the one on the right is like ray tracing on, and the one on the left is like non-ray tracing. I know it's really subtle. I don't know if you guys will notice it, but like if you know, like if you guys are having a hard time looking, like what's different is the ground. I think it's the easiest to tell. Like the ground is much darker. I think it's a much more realistic lighting compared to like this like fakey like bright looking ground. And I think that's like the biggest telltale. And then like the bit of the glow in the like the grasses, the leaves here. This one is like a bit like overblown, and this one is a bit like there's a bit more detail there. I think like that's like how ray tracing usually does it. Like the lighting looks bright but natural. And like you can kind of see in here too, like this looks like a fake bloom effect from like the game. So like yeah, I'm assuming this is like RTX off and this is RTX on, which is insane. The fact that you can get 300 frames on like freaking RTX on Wuthering Wave. I barely get 100 on Septimon. Bro.
的画面表现与游戏运行流畅度得到更好的提升。具体详细信息，请漂泊者们关注后续的版本说明公告。然后我们也针对一些快捷操作
Shortcut key function. Okay, can I finally move through the menu with my freaking arrow keys?
相关优化，在 2.6 版本更新后 ，PC 端会新增部分快捷
Several keyboard shortcuts.
漂
Yes.
泊者们可以在游戏
You
内
can
的部
press
分界
keyboard
面，
press
通
keyboard
过按下
shortcuts to
绿
access
色的
certain
界面，即可进行与鼠标同效的对应操作。比如在游戏登录后的标题界面，无需使用鼠标点击，按下
You can climb place space and thank God. Oh wow, who would have thought?
进入游戏。在获得奖励的界面
I mean, this is something that I'm concerned to. Something that I will pay attention is that like when you play, you have to actually touch. You have to actually use your mouse because it needs a touch input in the game. But now you can use keyboard shortcut, and that's nice.
请关闭的操作。
Escape to close the window. Usually I use escape, but now you can use space to do that. That's nice.
推荐的用法就不在这儿过多介绍了。各位漂泊者们可以在版本更新。
I really hope they add the arrow keys though, so I can like do I can quickly like think about it, right, guys? If you can use arrow keys, we can already mark and lock echoes with keyboards, right? So if you use arrow keys to move between like the echoes, it's gonna be so much faster. Like echoes management is gonna be so much faster if you can use arrow keys in the menu.
自行前往进行体验。然后是关于逆境深塔与明哥海区2个战斗挑战玩法，我们也在 2.6 版本对其
Tower
进行一些内容
Adversities, Whimpering Ways.
优化
Okay.
首先，关于逆境深塔挑战玩法中的深境之塔挑战，
Coming to the Hazard Tower, which is commonly known as the Middle Tower. Okay.
将新增深境区深境之塔的第
Will
3
be
层
unlocked.
第
Ooh,
4层挑战，
what?
并同步提高奖励。漂泊者们满印记完成，可额外获取100新生、10万倍币
Oh.
和240点深
Shit, they're increasing the reward cap. Oh, that's
境
nice.
记录。欢迎各位漂泊者
So
们
instead of
前来
700, you're getting 800
同
now.
时，在更新后，常驻的超载区、通关稳定区和实验区后即可开启。
Oh, I mean,
无需
I
在
mean,
通
you
关
fit.
深境区后结算。
Oh,
并且在 2.6 版本，我们对逆境深塔和明哥海区都同步新增了挑战记录复写。
record sync.
也
Ooh,
就是说，
that means you can
每
skip
次周
them.
期刷新都会根据上一期的挑战进度自动通过一定的关卡。其次，明哥海区活动也将迭代焚潮系统
The。burning waves
在
feature,
之前
instead of
经历
triggering
多
it to
次
fix
触发
enemy
焚潮的旧
waves
规则将会被替换为
through
通过战斗
Ember.
行为
Oh, so I'm assuming you have to do
进行
enough
新
damage.
规则
Yeah,
当
combat
团队
action.
积
See?
累至100%时，将立即进入焚潮状态。最后，2.6 版本更新后，漂泊者能够更加便捷地更换队伍的阵容顺序，并在活动界面中新增了奖励进度展示，可以更加一目了然地查看
Oh,
当前的奖励
Man,
进
that's a
度。
lot of like optimization. I love it.
与明哥海区2个玩法的优化外，
Death
天道
Listen
门
moment, I
背影响
guess.
也同样进行了优化。
Fantasies of Thousand
首先，
Gateways
我们对
first.
天道门背影
Optimize
响的界面
interface.
进行了优化，调整界面首页内容，展示了本期梦境园户的加成信息，以及定制了专属的编队界面。漂泊者可以快速查看角色积分加成、怪物
Okay.
基础等级等信息。其次，更新了部分已有的隐喻，并新增了一些新的隐喻。
Okay.
同时对隐喻本身也增加了分类调整，
Ooh.
方便漂泊者更好的选择和体验。最后，在2.6版本更
I
新后
find it to be really surprising that they are like sticking around a lot with the fantasies of the Thousand Gateways instead of like actually just like straight up like bringing back Elusive Realm, because like I feel like that's what everyone had wanted, right? Like fantasy, like when fantasies of the Thousand Gateways first come out, it's like a stripped out like Elusive Realm. So I've always wanted to like for that to actually come back. I don't know why they didn't just like bring it back. Was it like too hard back then? I know it was definitely like harder, but like I feel like it's a really good like end game in a way. Like is elusive realm because like it's about like building your it's a bit of it's about like both like RNG and like building your character the right way to like actually beat the boss. So it was really fun, and like I feel like they simplify it way too much in the Fantasy South 1000 Gateways, which also makes sense because they made it into like a weekly event, right? But I really wish they would actually bring back the full version, like the elusive realm back. And then just add more variety and more like seed system, like mix things up like every patch or so, right? That would be so good. Oh man. One can dream. One can dream.
明晰梦状态将更新为解梦状态，在梦境能量充满后，漂泊者可选择主动触发解梦状态。更多更新及优化内容，请漂泊者们关注后续的官方公告。
Oh man, they're beating Scar's ass
探索体验
real hard there.
进行了一系列的优化。哦
Crucial experience. Okay.
首先，为了让各位漂泊者们能够更加便携地采集矿石材料，在2.6的版本更新后，我们也将新增矿物的采集附近
Mineral collection spot. Ooh, nice.
方便地采集到矿物资源啦。其次，其藏测探仪的探测范围也
They expanded the loot mapper even more.
使用这个道具进行探索时，便可以探测更大范围内的宝箱，减少遗漏，提升效率。除此之外，我们在2.6版本也将对
This is a theory of mine. You know, might be wrong. Considering how big they expanded the area for the loot mapper, it might be a telltale sign that like in the upcoming updates they're gonna make the map even bigger. Which I like because, you know, as I said, I like open world games. But for a lot of people that are playing on the phone, I just want to say RIP. Rip your performance and rip your storage. I am so sorry, people. You better start saving up for that like Galaxy S26 Ultra 1 terabyte storage to play Wuthering Wave. Better get that 512 gig like storage now at least.
荆州与黑海岸的地区进行探索体验的全面优化。
针对荆州和黑海岸，
Wait, we further enhance the exploration experience in Jinzhou and Black Shores. Ooh.
和黑海岸，
Okay.
还不快展开讲讲？
首先，我们将为荆州区域探索度的部分任务也增加
Specifically
追踪功能
exploration quests.
观景点、飞猎
Viewpoint.
与辐射
Oh, this would have been so helpful back then.
双重都将进入可追踪列表。漂泊者们在地图探索度界面点击。
And also, I really wish they brought back the viewpoints. I love the viewpoints.
追踪就可以在地图上。
Cause like usually, they did that in Genshin, they did that in Honkai Star Rail, and I'm like when they did that in Wuthering Wave 2, I was like, this is this is one of the feature that I don't mind them copying from other game, because like there's always this iconic view that you get to see from like those like viewpoints, right? And you can take the first picture is for the mission, but then after that you can take a photo, your own photos in that location, right? And like if you let us track it, that means we can go back to that marker anytime. So I don't know why they took that away from us. I personally like it. Because like I know that's what they're trying to do with the photo event. But the problem with the photo event is that like it doesn't really give you the location of the place once you finish them. Unlike like an actual like exploration like marker, right? Like if it's like an actual thing you can track in the map, it makes it easier to revisit the area. That's what I think. I might be wrong. I don't really do the photo collection event because it's only 160. Like again, the reward is too little, in my opinion, and I rather spend my time doing something else. I remember missing a small plot. A blobfly was so easy. No shit, bro. Especially at like desolate plain or something.
还有更多的优化吗？有的，有的。我们在林纳西塔地块推出了翱翔模块，为挑战者们带来了全新的探索体验。
Do we get to fly on the older area now?
大家能够更加自由的过去的地图区域。因此，我们将在2.6版本进行一次特别优化。在完善地图边界与碰撞逻辑后，翱翔模块的适用范围将拓展至金州与黑海岸。更新后，大家便可以在这2个区域自由翱翔了。同时，全新活动寻风流行将会开启。参与并完成翱翔引导活动，即可解锁荆州和黑海岸的翱翔模块，并获得新生等奖励。期待各位漂泊者们在荆州与黑海岸的天空中尽情体验。
Does that mean we're gonna get them in the other areas too?
不过，
Please?
考虑到不同地区的设计和玩法体验，未来我们将不再拓展翱翔模块的使用范围。当然
Why? Look. I know it trivialized a lot of like the exploration in Renacita, and it definitely makes the map design harder. But okay, here's my input. Free of charge for Wuthering Waves. I mean, considering that I'm saying this on stream, like, you know, it's already free of charge if someone like wants to copy it, but they already had a system where they can allow us to explore new areas without like straight up like just like basically like finishing them in one day with like flying. It's called the certification, the pass, the license, right? Do you know how like when you guys play in Wuthering Wave, when you start in a new region, that you have this like level, like certain, you have to reach a certain level of exploration in the region to unlock the license to use like loot mapper, for example. I don't know why they couldn't do that with the flying echoes. So for example, they can introduce it towards the end of like the region's like lifetime, right? For example, like right before 4.0 maybe, they would be like, okay, so like we've like, you know, I know we have like all this new exploration system on the new map, because like I think that's what they're trying to say. Based on the new map features, they're gonna have like a different system to explore. But then they're gonna also like, oh, you know, with like since Rover has managed to like save the, for example, New Federation or like another Huanglong state, right? They're now introducing like the flying license that people can apply to, so people can now fly in the new region, right? They could have done something like that. Don't say like we're not bringing them like straight up like a straight no. We're not bringing them to anything else, like any new areas.
未来我们也会根据新的地图风貌。
That differ from flight, right? Because like I still like even if I can like I sometimes I just want to fly just to enjoy the view, right? And if I don't have the flight system to begin with, I cannot enjoy the view.
会根据新的地图风貌，引入与翱翔有所区别的新探索机制，在未来和大家见面。希望每一次探索都可以给漂泊者们创造独特的记忆。
And keep in mind, there are 2 updates that they have done so far that is like solely focused on like the flight experience, right? 2 big updates. I'm not saying like there's not like, you know, fixes and tweaks and stuff like that, but there are 2 big updates that they already like added for like the flying system. First of all, when you fly through like the air, like when you fly near the water, they causes like ripple and like the physics effects. Can't see that in the new areas now because you cannot fly there. Like, why would they? They added this small thing, and then they would straight up like, yeah, we're not doing this. I'm like the next area is not gonna be. You cannot fly there, right? And then also they sell skins for the flight, and if I cannot use, like, if I bought a skin, which I did, by the way, I bought the skins, and I cannot use it now on the new areas, and like my skin is basically fucking useless. Because it's only available in the first 3 areas. One of them is like half of an area. Like Black Shores is pretty and all, but like it's the smallest region so far, right? So I don't think I'll be flying that much over there. So yeah, for me it's really controversial. Maybe this will be my make and break and like whether I stick with Wuthering Wave or not, because like we have to see what kind of like new exploration system they would come up in 3.0, I guess. Maybe vehicles. I've heard a lot that like New Federation is supposed to be like more modernistic, more futuristic, and like assuming it's more like closer to like cause Huanglong is like a modern but like present modern, right? Like it's like I want to say like it's something like Battlefield 2042 in a way, where like it's like futuristic but not that future ahead. Meanwhile, like the Septimon and Arena Sita is more like Battlefield 1, where like it's like the past, right? It's more traditional and more closer to like older times. And New Federation, I'm assuming, is gonna be something like Call of Duty, like Advanced Warfare or like Infinite Warfare, where like there's robots and like there's freaking like Cyberpunk, right? Where there's like this like exoskeletons and like uh, freaking like Gundams and Transformers and robots and stuff like that. So maybe they'll add that kind of thing. Maybe we can drive a robot, maybe fly a plane. Like, is this gonna straight up become a GTA or like Ananta or like freaking like NTE now? You can ride a car or motorcycle and like freaking hoverboard. Maybe like hoverboard, like kind of like Warframe. That would be cool. It's probably still not gonna beat like Warframe. It's not gonna beat like the flight system. I think they should have done it like the way like Warframe did it, right? Where like you can unlock the flight after a certain point, and they can just lock it like per area where they have like a certain restrictions. For example, like in this area you need to reach the to get the license first, or like this area. I mean, I'm sure they can find a way to like kind of explain it in the lore. For example, like I know that the flight system is like supported by the fact that like the wings are echoes. So maybe we can be like, oh, flying echoes are banned in New Federation, so that's why we cannot fly there, right? I'm sure they can find a way to explain it. Like that's like one of the examples that comes into my mind. Another one would be like, oh, since like there's something like the dark tide for, I mean, like that doesn't make sense because like dark tide is there and I can still fly. But like maybe there's like a predator in the sky. It's kind of like if you guys play Elden Ring, there's like a certain spot where you cannot summon your horse. They can do it something like that, the gimmick, right? Like if they want to, but they don't have to explain it, I guess, because they already said they're not gonna do it.
随着翱翔技术的进步，在2.6版本更新后，漂泊者们点击翱翔按钮即可直接升空，开始翱翔。
哦，
Ooh,
意思是
you can.
需要在寻找有高
I don't have to do. I don't have to do like the super jump.
能够翱翔的状态，在地面就可以展开翅膀，直接升空吗？
没错，希望
没错
能够以更自由、更畅快的方式去深入感受和探索荆州、黑海岸以及林纳西达的壮阔风景与丰富内容。
最后，特别的，在跃上中天时，我们也给漂泊者们准备了一份
Ooh, nice. That's free 20 pulls. 10 weapons and 10 pulls for characters and then 10 for weapons. Nice. I for one welcome free stuff.
之力，在2025年9月17日至2025年10月8日登录游戏，即可领取10枚福金波纹与10枚筑巢波纹，和尤诺一起享受月色吧。
I just realized it. You can only claim them during Yuno's banner.
漂泊者们届时记得登录领取哦。
So this is on the second half of the event.
那么接下来为大家送上本次闲谈通讯的最后一个对话码，漂泊者们记得及时与游戏兑换。
Same thing as last time, guys. We're gonna be pausing here. If you guys want to copy it right now, feel free to pause in this part of the video and insert it, get your freaking currencies, and then we're now off to the new content. Next one. That's everything we've prepared. Since we first set foot in Septimon just like you. It's surprising how the Septimon arc ends quite quickly, honestly.
可不是嘛？狩猎即将拉开帷幕，无论是于明示，
I guess it makes sense because Septimon is not a main region. Like it's technically a side region, technically.
有关的谜团，还是七丘尚未确定的未来，都在等着漂泊者们的探索。
那么最后，明朝2.6版本日以灼风
2.6 by Sun Scorch
28日正式开
by
始
Moon's Revelation.
踏入广阔的寿元，穿越峡谷与密林，直面黑潮的造物，在呼
Okay.
潮中见证属于。
Oh, that always does this. Ooh, what did I see there? Let me just see. There's like a typical like post credit scene like on like in Marvel universe like cinematic universe, not gonna lie. Work in progress. Does not represent the final look.
Been a while, Rinasita.
I like her voice. Oh my god.
Do we hunt this time?
Is this like I don't play Devil May Cry that much, right? But Dante versus Nero. Hear me out, guys.
The Trenodian.
The Trenodian. That accent is thick on that last two words. I'm pretty sure this is Septimon, right? Yeah, this is Septimon because this is like the big sword. Wait, that like less. Man, that's hell of a cinematic. That's a nice teaser. And there doesn't seem to be anything else. So, yeah. That's it for today.